All right, now let's talk about why this 5 dominant 7th chord is so important. Let me play through this progression. All right, I have a progression here. It says minor chord progression, which sounds better to your ears? Let me go ahead and play it, okay, so you can listen to it. Now what I'm doing is I'm using just diatonic chords, all right, from either natural minor or harmonic minor, or a mix of the two, okay? So just the chords that we've talked about so far. Then I'm just doing inversions on the chords. So rather than playing F minor 7, rather than going up to F minor 7, I'm doing an inversion of the F minor 7 chord. Okay? But look for the root motion down here. That will help you. I'll play with one finger just so it's easy for you to see as well. So C minor 7, F minor 7, D minor 7 flat 5, G minor 7, C minor 7. Let me play that a couple of times, just so you can kind of hear. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of play around with it. All right, now just sit with that for a second. You know, you could try playing it if you want. It's a good idea for you to play that progression, get it under your fingertips, and just kind of sit with it and let your ears just kind of soak it up. Now listen to the next one. You tell me which one you like better. Back to the first one. Now, you're probably in agreement with me, probably, that the second one sounds better than the first one. And the second one, you'll notice the difference is the 5 chord, the G chord, is, in the first one, it's a minor chord, and in the second one, it is a dominant 7th chord, okay? Now, you might think that you like the minor sound better. That's fine, okay? People do use the minor sound, but it is, excuse me, by far less popular than using a 5 dominant 7th chord. Not to say you'll never see it, but it is far more likely for you to see that as a 5 dominant 7th chord or a 5 major rather than as a 5 minor. Okay, let's talk about why. 5 minor, there's G minor, there's my 3rd and my 7th, okay, resolving to C minor, there's my 3rd and my 7th. You'll see what happens is that the 3rd becomes the 7th of C minor, and the 7th of G minor resolves down to the 3rd. Now let's take a look at what happens with the dominant chord. Or if I go this way, or you can do that as well. What do you notice? The 7th now, or actually let's go down here. The 3rd here now moves to the 7th, okay, and the 7th moves to the 3rd, or it could move up to the 5th for C as well. That. Okay. So what you're getting is you're getting a stronger motion. Okay? You're also getting an interval that is very unstable. This is the interval of a tritone. Now don't confuse this with tritone substitution. Right here we're just talking about the interval of a tritone, okay? Now the tritone can be anywhere, right? All of these intervals are the interval of a tritone, okay? So there's your interval of a tritone. That is the most unstable interval in our musical vocabulary. This interval wants to move someplace. And there you go. Or, see how I can move down a half step and move up a step? Whereas this versus, you can hear that the dominant 7th chord definitely has a lot more stronger pull or push to that C minor 7. Whereas the G minor, the 5 minor chord, is much more, it's much more of a subtle move, okay? You will notice that a lot of composers, when using minor modes will mix and mingle between these modes. This is very important to understand, all right? So a lot of times you will find this as your diatonic progression. 1 minor, 2 minor, 7 flat, 5. Okay, so 1 minor, this is coming from natural minor, not harmonic minor. 2 minor, 7 flat, 5. That's the same thing in both. Okay, and in fact, before we go on, the 2, the 11, and the flat 6 is going to be the same in both because it is the same in both. So 1 minor, 2 minor, 7 flat, 5. Flat 3 major is more common than the flat 3 sharp 11. 4 minor. Okay, and then 5 dominant 7th. It's almost always used for that 5 chord. Flat 6 major, flat 7 dominant 7th. So this is the progression, the mix of the two that you will find most often. 1 minor, 2 minor 7 flat 5, flat 3 major, 4 minor, 5 dominant 7th, flat 6 major 7, flat 7 dominant 7th, and 1 minor. I suggest that you stop right now and practice that diatonic progression in whatever those 3 keys were that I asked you to do the natural minor scale for. Okay, should have also asked you to do the harmonic minor scale as well. But go and do the harmonic minor scale in those 3 keys, or pick another 3, or do it in 6, whatever you want to do. And then do this particular progression. All right, so it's 1 minor. I'm not going to write this out either. I want you to write it down yourself. Don't write down all the notes of the chords. All you're going to do is just write out 1, Roman numeral 1, and a minus sign. 1 minor 7, 2 minor 7 flat 5, flat 3 major 7, 4 minor 7, 5 dominant 7th, flat 6 major 7, flat 7 dominant 7th, and then 1 minor 7. Okay? So get that progression down in other keys. All right, so I will see you in the next in the next chapter, and this is where we're going to start taking a look at some chord progressions and changing them around a bit. So see you in a minute.